Hello, once again, to another episode of Remember the Greats. This is considered a pickups video, but unlike an eBay pickup or a card show pickup, this one's a little bit unique. What I want to talk to you about is silent auctions. If some of the younger viewers aren't familiar with what a silent auction is basically it's a charity type event where you go to bid on items and you basically try to raise money for a certain cause or whatever. And typically when you go to these type of auctions, things are outbid way more than what they're worth. Meaning, an example would be is say a baseball might be worth $30 of a certain ball player. Signed, that's the going eBay price, the card shop price, whatever. Well, at a silent auction, because they're trying to raise money, sometimes they might bid that baseball up to $100. Even though the value of that signed ball is still only $30, you wind up paying $100 because you're trying to raise money for that charity. So moving forward, to give you a little background on why I'm making this video, I went to an event that had a silent auction, and luck really worked out for me, I guess would be the best way to put it. The weather was rather bad. They actually had to reschedule the event for a Sunday afternoon, which it was supposed to be Saturday night, and because of the weather it was rescheduled. And because of that, I believe there was a low turnout, so there were deals to be had. And I went to this event and there were probably easily 100 to 150 items plus that were in a silent auction. Then they also had a live auction with some more premium items like some jerseys, Mickey Mantle bat that was signed, just some etc. Type of things like that. So I promised my wife I would not go over the $100 threshold. I told her, I'm going to spend probably around $100, and my philosophy going into this was, well, I can get one item for $100, or I can get a bunch of items for $100, but I'm not going over $100. So to get to where I'm at, I'm going to share with you the 4 items that I spent $105 for. I went $5 over my budget. And you can, my jaws just dropped. I could not believe what I walked out of there with for only $105. So I got 4 items, 3 signed baseballs and 1 signed bat, game used bat, or at least I think it's game used. So if you look at it this way, I paid just over $25 per autograph. So I'm going to start out with one of the first items that I got, and that is a baseball signed by the Hall of Famer Billy Herman. Now this ball was sitting by itself, and near the auction's end, nobody had put a bid on it. Nobody at all. And I looked at it and I'm like, this is a Giamatti baseball signed by a Hall of Famer. How can you not put a bid on that? I mean, this is awesome. A little bit about Billy Herman. Just going to check out the back of this card. He was basically the mainstay for the Chicago Cubs. Played mainly second base. He was there from 1931 to 1941, so nearly a decade playing second base for the Cubs. And he later went on to go play for the Brooklyn Dodgers and the Boston Braves and the Pirates for a season. But after his playing career, he became a coach with the Dodgers organization in Brooklyn. And in 1975, he was elected to baseball's Hall of Fame. So, again, with no bids, I was able to get this Billy Herman signed baseball for, I guess if you want to look at it, $25. even though I did not bid $25 on that. Alright, so the next item, there's kind of a cool story behind this. This next item, I'm going to show you in this awesome display case. I put this in the case after I bought the item, but it simply came in one of these old baseball boxes, and you know that's old. They don't even make American League baseballs anymore. But the cool story behind this item, and I will reveal it to you right now without hopefully breaking my thing more than it already is none other than newly elected Hall of Famer Ivan Rodriguez. And there's a little blemish at the end of the ball there, but I could definitely live with that. And I'm trying not to break this because the base is actually broken off already. So I'm going to do my best to show this to you without getting it too blurry. And the story behind this ball was they didn't know what they had. Because Ivan's autograph is not the most legible, to say it nicely, the people at the auction thought that this was signed by Juan Gonzalez. That's what's written on the box. So like the Billy Herman, nobody bid on it because they thought it was a Juan Gonzalez autograph. Well, many of you out there and through the mail world have written Juan Gonzalez as of recent. I've written Juan Gonzalez, and I've gotten his autograph on a couple certified items from the bid, you know, the late 90s or whatever. And that is definitely not Juan Gonzalez's autograph. That was the first thing that I said to myself when I saw that sitting on the table in that box. So, like the Billy Herman, nobody put a bid on it, and I got it, I think, for $15 was the opening and closing bid on this Ivan Rodriguez signed ball. Now again, I put it in this case. I happen to have this Hall of Fame glove case laying around. It's broke. The base isn't attached to the holder anymore. I guess I dropped it when I was moving it or something. That's just the way it is, I guess. But beautiful early Ivan Rodriguez autograph. I'm almost positive he doesn't sign like that anymore. To pull it out of the case really quick here, it is on a Budig American League ball, which, you know, he hasn't been the American League president for a long time, so this tells me that this is a very early Rodriguez signed item. So let me pull that off camera there, because all I'm doing is just blurring up everything. I'm going to put that over here and hopefully not break it more than I already have. So, very happy to get that to add to the collection. I never had an Ivan Rodriguez autograph. And this is always a welcome addition to any collection. Now this next item I paid the most for in the lot, if you want to be technical, but again, because I paid $105 for the entire lot, this averages out everything to, you know, $26 a piece or whatever. And this one was kind of the heat of the moment. I want this. I'm going to win this no matter what it takes if it's under $100. So this is an item signed none other than the greatest Yankees pitcher ever, at least in my opinion, signed by Whitey Ford, or Ed Ford if you want to be technical. Now if you guys haven't watched my Yankees video, all-time Yankees Dream Team video, you know, definitely check that out. Whitey Ford is featured in that video. But this ball I saw, and I'm like, I'm going to try to win that. Now, because this auction had so many star-studded items, I mean, they had bats signed by Mantle. They had a Willie Mays signed ball. They had a Hank Aaron ball. They had, you know, all of these heavy hitters, so to speak, in the autograph world. And the thing was is I didn't have the kind of budget to bid on that stuff. I mean, opening bid on most of that stuff was $100, just right off the bat. You know, I think they had an A-Rod ball, an Ichiro ball, you know, and it's either you buy one thing or you buy four things. So this one, I guess you would say, was kind of under the radar. Like if this was the premier item, this would have went for a heck of a lot more, in my opinion, than $50. But I put $50 on it. I thought if somebody wants it more than that, you know, because that's about probably what it's worth, they can have it. And I won. So, very happy to add a Whitey Ford to the collection. Definitely a great addition. Now, this last item, I had no intention on walking out the door with. I could not believe that I didn't get outbid on this. This was a last minute, the auction's closing, so get your bids in type of bid. And I just could not believe that nobody else bid on this. But when you have the likes of Mantle, Mays, you know, every Cardinal you could think of, Musial, Brock, McCarver, etc., selling their memorabilia for way over what it's worth, I thought, you know, just like the Whitey Ford ball, I'll put a minimum bid on there. If somebody really wants it more than me, I guess they can have it. And this is something I again am just shocked that I have now. Is a bat signed by Steve Finley. Now, this appears to be a game used bat. There's pine tar down here at the bottom. It's well chipped. Again, it's signed in silver Sharpie by Mr. Finley. And I'm going to lay that down and hopefully it doesn't roll away like it's trying to do. Alright, we're going to fix this guy. Alright, Mr. Billy, you're going to help me out here. So, I grabbed this I grabbed this bat, and I put a $20 bid on it. Minimum opening bid was $20. Now, if you don't know who Steve Finley is, he played in the majors for quite some time. He was kind of never the big star on every team, but he was kind of the secondary star, meaning he made his major league debut, I'm looking at his Wikipedia here, in 1989 and retired in 2007 in the middle of the season, it looks like, for the Rockies. So he played 18 years almost in the majors. And over that time, he hit 2,548 hits and had 304 home runs. And he played for various teams. We'll get the card out here and kind of lean it up against there as well. And he played for various teams. Mainly, he played for the Diamondbacks, and he was on the World Series team that won in 2001, I believe it was. Then after 2004, he left the Diamondbacks, and every season after that, he kind of jumped around. Dodgers, Angels, Giants, Rockies. Previous to being with the D-backs, he played for the Padres for 3 seasons, the Astros for 3 seasons, and the Orioles for a couple seasons. So, the story behind this is I asked the people that were putting the auction on, and they said Mr. Finley donated this to the auction. And I said, well, you know, what the heck? What, you know, how random is seeing a Steve Finley anything? You know, I mean, that's not a big name that you hear about too often. Well, the person that conducted the auction told me that Mr. Finley now runs his own business as a financial advisor to young ball players. So if you guys have ever seen the show Ballers with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, it's pretty similar to what he does for NFL players. And I did not know that about Mr. Finley. I'm like, wow, that is cool as heck that he, you know, does that now for his profession. So, good for Mr. Finley. Thank you very much for donating this item to the auction. Unfortunately, I don't think it got as much money as it should have, but because of the weather and the lower turnout, I think that's why this bargain was to be had. So, again, a great pickup. All right, so in closing, silent auctions aren't the worst thing in the world, I guess, is the best way I can put it. Deals can be had. Now, with that said, 95% of the time I go to a silent auction, stuff is way, way, way outbid more than it would ever be worth on any planet. You know, this even includes tickets to like a Cardinal game. They'll silent auction off like game tickets, and they'll go for way more than what face value of the tickets, you know, actually are. And it's like, why would you do that when you can just go to the stadium and buy them, or Ticket Hub or whatever? So, very happy to find these. Again, this is one of those things that I was not expecting to even walk out with anything. And, you know, my wife and I made the agreement that I won't spend over $100 on anything. And unfortunately, I had to go and hang my head low and say, honey, can I borrow $5? Now, she begrudgingly gave it to me, but I almost stayed under budget. So she said, you know, with this stuff, I'm okay with giving you another $5 to get out the door with it. So hopefully some of the other items at this auction raised more money. Actually, I know in fact that they did, but there were some items that went for less than what I thought they should have, and there were some items that, again, that went, you know, way more than what they're worth. For example, Giancarlo Stanton signed baseball went for $200, where as opposed to a Willie Mays signed baseball only went for $100. Now, you know, more or less that's probably what a Mays ball is worth, you know, especially one that doesn't have a certificate or, you know, graded or anything like that. You're really taking a shot in the dark that it is authentic. These really didn't have authentication with them, any of the items. I mean, the Steve Finley is about the best authentication I can have, only because the story was told, you know, he literally delivered this to us yesterday and gave it to us. So hopefully the Ford, Herman, and Rodriguez balls are authentic. I feel that if they're not, I didn't lose a whole lot. You know, that's the gamble you take with going to these type of items, you know, to these type of events and buying these type of items. But in closing, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I, you know, look forward to your comments below, and I look forward to doing some more pickup videos in the future. Thanks.